Hey guys, it's 3 a.m. Saturday morning. So I decided to make a video. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm not gonna say like, subscribe, okay, to ring that bell. This is one of real talk videos. And when I do a real talk video, I don't do that that corny crap about like, subscribe, okay, to ring that bell garbage. This is about my mother and how she passed away. And um a lot of people don't want to talk about stuff like that. They say, well, you shouldn't discuss family affairs. But I'm a person who says, you know what? I'm a real person. I'm gonna be real with you. Okay? I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I'm not gonna hide anything. I'm not gonna lie about anything. I think we all need to talk about our family that's passing away and then show light and show dignity and respect to them. And I think that the best way I can do that for my mother is to talk about, the story and what happened, you know. And no, I'm not gonna go into drama about my mother and father and stuff like that, my family. I'm not gonna do that. So no, I'm gonna skip that. This video may be not be very long, but help people out there who lost loved ones and understand how the loss of somebody is very difficult and it's not easy to understand. And not everybody can understand how someone loses a loved one who is good for 2 months and 2 months later, boom, you're planning their funeral. Anyway, what happened with me and my mother and the family around us? We had to plan a funeral. Okay, it started back right around December, right before Thanksgiving. Then my mother fell and hurt herself for the third time. A couple of times she fell and she had to go to the hospital. 2 years before that, in summer, I think of 2022, she had that issue. Um, so it's a kind of ongoing thing. So she had issues falling. She had hip surgery. She was doing better, but she was refusing to get up and move because she fell a lot, and it really bothered her. And my brother, even though I can't stand him sometimes, he did his best. My other family members don't think so. I'm gonna leave that alone. But I think he did his best. I think he did what he could do. Because our mother is a very stubborn person. Like a lot of mothers are. A lot of mothers out there, you probably have the same mother I do, probably very stubborn, want to do it her way, and damn it, that's it, kind of thing, right? And that's it. Um, but she fell on herself a couple times and fell down. And she got really, really, really depressed with that. Didn't like moving. So she would, she would literally defecate and urinate on herself. So bad she had bruises. And when she went to the home right before Christmas, we had Christmas in the hospital with my mother, and that was a Wednesday. We had Christmas in the hospital for my mother. Then we went back to my sister's place, and we had Christmas there. But we had Christmas with mom first. Uh, she had a lot of bruises, a lot of issues going on, not knowing what really happening. And we didn't know what's happening is going to be the end. She had UTI infection. And for women, it's difficult as well. Women only wipe a certain way when they go to the bathroom. They wipe one way, and that's it. Men, we don't have that problem. Yes, we can get UTI infections, but for us men, it's not really as dangerous as it is for a woman. Of course, a woman who's 75 years old or over her 70s, in her mid 70s. For men, it's probably a little different. Women, it's a guaranteed death sentence if you don't, because your body can't regulate. You don't know for sure. You can't tell pain down there. You don't know what's going on. Your body changing. Now you're going into your seniors, in your senior years at that point in time, right? So on the 25th of December, um, my mom had Christmas in the hospital, and all things looking good though. She had UTI infection taken care of. They got antibiotics. They're gonna take care of it, and blah blah. Okay, well, going through the motions, not thinking about anything going wrong. About not even 2 months later, January, February, February. around, I think, the 23rd or 20th or whatever, or 19th, she was emergency moved to the IC unit. No, it was 25th, 26th of February. She was moved to the ICU unit, intensive care unit at the hospital. Her blood pressure was erratic. She wasn't urinating. Um, she had a lot of issues. Bad time. Um, and no BS. It's not BS and clickbait. This is serious stuff. Um, and when she did urinate, a milkiness came out, and it's all tall sign of an infection. If somebody who's female starts urinating, milky substance, that's UTI tract infection. That's pretty much what that is. And men too. Start urinating, almost like a milk color coming out of you. That's UTI. That's tract infection inside your body. Um, and she was moved to intensive care because she wasn't urinating. Her body wasn't producing urine. And your liver, your kidneys, and your liver help produce. I do believe your liver or your kidneys. I think your liver helps produce urine. One of the two. And once that doesn't happen, it's rocketing downhill from here. They had her sedated for a while. And my father called me on the 28th, uh, 26th, because she code blue. She just seized right in the middle of what they were doing. And my father was upset, yes. The 54 marriage to the woman he loved for 54 years. Um, and looking back on it, it makes kind of sense to me that he would literally, do everything he can for her. But she coded the first time, and he was, just going ape shit crazy. Obviously, anybody would. If your wife's sitting laying there, or husband, reverse also true, and you're laying there, and they're laying there, and they're coding, and it says code blue, room, whatever, and you're in the room, whatever. Damn. And my father's a medical person in the army, a field medic. So he knows what the codes are, what they mean. So he knew that time was approaching. I went up there to talk to her a little bit. And she wasn't really up there at all. I went up there to talk to see her, and it was really bad. She was sedated for a while. She was sedated since the 26th of February. 28th, we went up there because my father's like, oh man, but she's like, oh man, your mom coding again. I think this is it. So we went back up there again, 28th, to go, say goodbyes and stuff. But she hung on for a long time. The fight was still in her. She was fighting like you wouldn't believe. Um, but I went home around 6 because I had to feed the dogs. I was also up since 10 o'clock that night before. I had to get some rest. This phone here, it's 3 o'clock, by the way, Central Time, 3:09. This phone here, people ask me at work, how do you find out your mom passed away? Were you there holding her hand? Were you there telling you loved her? I found out through this on Facebook. I found out through a damn phone that my mother passed at 11:45, the 28th of February, Friday night. No, at 1:45. I was going into, I think, Saturday morning. I found out through my brother posting it on Facebook the night before. I called my sister and I asked her, she said, yeah, mom, this has passed away. I need to get up here because Neil Parks was coming to get the body. So I had to get dressed You get the dogs out of my way because they wanted to go play. And it's like, guys, leave me alone. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I lost my mother. Leave me alone. But they kind of knew something was up because they got out of my way. When I said, guys, move, and they got out of the way and moved. They knew something was up. Of course, getting into the hospitals and everything because closes thing at 12, and the whole place is like Fort Knox. You had to go all the way there and took forever to get there. But when I finally got there and saw her, she was laying there dead. I was looking at a corpse. Of one was my mother with tubes sticking out, her mouth open, just it was just so surreal. And I heard the story that my sister's going to leave around 8 o'clock, and Dad's called them from the car to come back here, and I think Mom is going. And they went back there in the waiting room, and my father signed the do not resuscitate order after the third time. Um, what really happened was that she was coding. They tried to do a vein tube to help get fluid inside her to help urinate, but her body was shutting down. She had a thing called sepsis. Sepsis. It's like it's like shock talk. It's like toxic shock. It's like septic shock. Somehow, stool bacteria got into her woman area and got into her body in the bloodstream. Once that happened, that was pretty much the kiss of death. For people younger, you have a lot of pain, you can get treated. Somebody who's 75 years old who does not have the plumbing working down there anymore, it's kind of hard to really, and even men too. Even men 75 years older, you ain't gonna know. You know, this is why pancreatic cancer kills a lot of men. In their older years because a lot of older men don't know they have pancreatic or bladder cancer because their body is not working down there anymore. Younger men, oh my God, I have a pain in my groin, I have pain in my area, and you go you have this cancer, you get taken care of. But men of my father and mother's age, people of that age bracket don't have pain like that because their body is different. It shut down the nerve ending pain down there because they're no longer using it. No, they're not having children. And you have children 75 years old. Um, but I wasn't there. And my sister and my father, old young sister were there. So my sister worked in Vanderbilt. She heard a lot of code fluid and stuff. And once the lights came flickered on, and my sister's eye lit up like coyote, like white coyote. Well, my sister said she was like that kind of thing. She knew Mom was going, and they tried it, but the doctor told all of them what it was and what the best course of action was, and there's no hope of pretty much making it through the night. And that was really what really happened. It wasn't some glamour to held my mom's hand and watch her go. I found out, on a damn phone on Facebook from my older brother, who had COVID, by the way, who couldn't go anyway. Um, yeah, I missed my mother's last breath. She saw me take my first breath when she gave birth to me. I was supposed to go there and watch her take her last breath as being the son who's going to bury her, and I didn't do that. And ever since that, I felt like like I was worthless and wasn't worth the time because I wasn't there because I was tired and had to go home and feed the dogs. I wasn't there for my mother who spent probably 8, 10 hours of labor screaming to pop me out into the world. She watched me take my first breath. I was supposed to be standing over her, watching her take her last breath. And because I didn't, it made me feel like I was less than a human being. And I know that ain't the case. I made peace with it more now than it happened. But you have to understand the situation at hand, though. My mom was 75 years old and she just died in February. She was good 2 months ago, and all of a sudden, now she's dead. And we planned the whole funeral cost, and that is, oh my God. Let's talk about the funeral. Talk about the after effects of all this, okay? Okay, Mom is gone. I'm not just pushing to her side or anything. I'm saying Mom is gone. and it's time to bury mom or loved one. You're gonna wait for another. You think insurance companies are hard to deal with when you're calling them? Deal with them when someone's died. They practically want me to roll my mother's corpse into the damn office just to see how dead she is. I'm like, really? You guys don't know we're joking? We're faking this? They didn't say it really because I'll be on a plane or a car. They're gonna beat someone's ass. They know they. I'll be on a plane or driving down the road to an office building. They'll go beat someone's ass if they wanted me to bring my mother's corpse into the office to show them that she's dead. Because I'm like, who will die in a lie? Who will literally argue for a lie? You know, that's the kind of thing in my head. I'm trying to think of like, who would argue over a lie? But that's beside the point. Neil Parkman's funeral home took care of my mother's Social Security stuff, and they did a great job with my mother. They worked on her and made her hair look nice and made her look like, you know, like she was sleeping almost in the casket, like she was taking a nap at the church almost, like she used to do when we were younger. She'd be in a dress, just laying down after church, taking a nap, still wearing her dress, and it just looks like that, you know. And it was rough, because it was something that I had never experienced before. I lost loved ones and friends and family to death before, but I'd never been to a funeral before. But the expensive stuff is all of our graves cost about 35 to 40 grand for all of our graves. Or no, we're gonna be buried in the same lot together. My mother's grave was almost $27,000 for everything. Almost 40 grand for all of us. I put down 2,000 for my lot. My sister did the same. My brother did the same too as well. So they're gonna be buried together. Um, but it was rough, guys. Losing a loved one is very rough. It's not funny. There's nothing to joke about it. There's nothing you can really do to show anything other than to the fact that when someone dies, this is what you have to do. You have to get down and dirty. You have to go to the depths of your own world. And when my mom died, I went home and ordered clothes online. I ordered a suit and tie. I knew my size, a little bigger than I was last time I was to the wedding. So I added, and I got an extra, almost extra 3.5, 4 size gap to that. So I got the right clothes for my brother and I, the right black suit, white shirt, pants, shoes, everything, whole scramble. It's cost me about 600, six to eight, almost $900 for all that stuff. How I had less than we had, a week to do it, and I know we had a week. We know we had like a week to do it, only like a week and a half to do it. And my job, thank God for them, they took care of me. They gave me all the time I needed. I took off close to a month off. So I only work 3 days a week. I only work 3 days a week. So I took off 9 days. I probably took off an extra week, but I didn't have enough time to cover the whole month. I need to get back to work, right? And thank God for my bosses and Lowe's themselves. They did a great thing. I think bereavement pay should be a little longer than 3 days. I think bereavement pay should be at least, like maybe you get like, say every employee gets like, 40 hours or 80 hours of bereavement pay. They can only use during funerals, stuff kind of stuff. Because it takes a long time, and it's like let's say it recruits after every every year or two. It recruits after 2 years. It recruits or whatever. Because how many deaths you're gonna have in one year? No, unless your whole family's on a plane crash, it ain't gonna be taking off no more than probably a month anyway. But I took off maybe about 3 weeks. Uh, and it was cool. I had time, I played games, I did some stuff, I ran around the house. I had to go make tons of phone calls. And that too, the after effect too of all this, making phone calls, calling insurance companies, calling with them. Yes, my mom's taken care of. Yes, she's passed away. How I know passed away? Literally on the phone to me going, how you know how I know she's dead? Because I was at the funeral. I had a person ask me that on the phone. You make sure your mother's really dead? I'm like, dude, I was at the funeral, so shut the hell up and process this stupid. I literally just wanted to strangle these people. And now my father finally got done with the life insurance policy. Finally came back in, and that's still up in the air. It's just so it's insanity. But having life insurance does help. I have to myself. I have it for myself too as well. Because when I croak, kick the bucket, burst enough flame, whatever happens to me, I don't want to be leaving my family, with a with $17,000 to $20,000 bill. So I say, God, I implore you, if your businesses have life insurance, get it. If bank has life insurance, it's free. Up to $1,000, $2,000, get that. Get as much insurance as you can through your bank, through your employer, whatever. Get it, because once you need it and you don't have it, then you're going to be singing and chiming a whole different tune, and that's what it's going to be. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Yes, it's been rough. My mom's been dead now since February 28th. It's uh one, two, almost 3 months, almost 90 days, and then my mom has been passed away. And if not a day go by that I don't miss her. I'll probably go up to her grave tomorrow and visit her grave. I might get up early and just heck with it and get lack of sleep on Saturday, and take a little nap Saturday night and go up there and see her grave, because I need to see her grave again. I need to go up there and talk to her anyway. Because when someone that you love passes away, it's very hard, not to remember the good times. But even harder, not to forget the bad times. When you're seeing her passed away and you forgot to get up and you had to go home and take a nap. Yeah, I had to go feed the dogs. My dad was not going to leave his wife. That was not an option. So that's why I volunteered to go home. I knew he was not going to leave her there. He wanted her to know that he was still there to the bitter end. And they're very romantic, you know. Think about it, some kind of love story. But that's how it is, guys. So if you have a loved one that passed away, comment down below. You know, it's rough, but you know what, guys? I make this video, guys, once in a while. This video is very special, but you guys take care of yourself. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Thank you for watching.